Hi, of course you already know the importance of developing your pieces, but let me show you a practical example from one of my recent games over at chess.com. I play e4, my opponent plays e5 if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's a standard opening. I bring out my horse. Whoa, the opponent brings out the queen quite early. I never bring out my queen this early. I develop my pieces and so does the opponent, so far it's quite an equal game. I push a pawn, of course, to open up for my bishop. Here's a strange move. Would you play that move? And why? It's crazy. So in essence, don't be like black. It would be better to develop the knight. But instead, the opponent pushes the pawn. And what do? I develop my pieces. The opponent continues to push pawns, and I develop my pieces. Let's pause for a minute. Who do you think has the best position? The enemy has developed 2 pieces, whereas yours truly has developed 4 pieces. The reason why you need to develop your pieces is so that they can work together 10 moves into the future. So in the very near future, my pieces will synchronize. My opponent cannot do that. I mean, how on earth are you supposed to synchronize an attack with just a bishop and a queen? It is possible. I mean, I'm the first to admit that I've been checkmated many times where the enemy just has a bishop and a queen. It does happen. But my main argument here is that it's much easier to find hilarious, nice combinations if you have an attack with at least 3 pieces going forward. Well, enough talking. Let's look at the game. What happens next? Ooh. Don't be like black. Let's go back one step. In this position, instead of developing the pieces, black chooses to push the pawn again. And this is a completely worthless move, because even though he would take my pawn, I can easily retake with no consequence at all for me. Frankly, I don't know what the opponent is doing. Okay, let's see what happens next. I castle, of course. Here's a development, finally. And I put some pressure on the bishop. He takes, I take. He takes, I take. He pushes on the flank. Me too. He pushes again. So what would you play here? If you take, he could retake with the horse. And that's no big thing because my pieces are protected. So the threat here is that he will take my bishop in the next move unless I move the bishop or strike. So what should I do? Well, I can't remember what I did, so let's push the button and see what happens. Okay, I moved backwards. Okay, it's black to move. Black can develop more pieces into the game or take. What do you think black does? He takes. So don't be like black. What's the reason behind this move? I can easily retake. There's nothing to gain by taking my pawn here on a3. Just 2 pieces are developed and I have 3 pieces active. Once again, black to move. Black chooses to develop the bishop to a6. Perfect. 3 pieces are developed from black's side. And the purpose is, of course, to threaten my bishop, but indirectly it's also threatening my rook. So it's quite a good move. Let's see what I do. I take. I didn't like that bishop threatening my rook, so I just took it. And of course black retakes with the rook. Okay, let's pause for a minute and analyze. This is actually quite a nice file. I'm threatening this pawn on d7. How can I put some more pressure on that pawn? Let's see how the game progresses. I step forward with my queen, getting ready to put a rook behind her. The enemy pushes a knight. And once again, I don't really see the purpose of this move, because this knight is not threatening anything, and it can easily be taken. So I ignore it. I just put my rook behind the queen, getting ready to attack the d7 square. This rook can be taken by this rook. Just imagine that this pawn on a5 and this knight on b4 and this bishop on a3 doesn't exist. Let's assume that they are gone and it's my turn to move. If I take with this rook, the queen will retaliate. Okay? Let's move forward. This step is understandable because the opponent wants to protect the important d7 pawn because it's under a heavy attack. But the problem is that this queen can no longer protect this rook. So I can just take, and he can retake, and I can take the rook. So let's move forward. I take the knight, and now black is thinking, holy crap, I cannot retake because then I'll lose my rook. So he's furious. Instead he develops his knight, which is a good thing, I guess. So I take. He moves the rook. Once again, let's pause for a minute and analyze the positions. This rook is not doing anything. All my pieces are active. So this is the essence of this tutorial. I'm just playing by the basic rules, and if my opponent doesn't, I will eventually, hopefully, end up in a position like this, where it's quite funny to play chess and it's rewarding and I'm feeling great. And I thought to myself, I need to do a video about this. And that's why we play games, because it makes us feel great. Winning is a nice thing. So just adhere to this golden rule of playing calmly, conservatively, and try to develop your pieces onto the board as quickly as possible. Enough talking, let's see how this game ends. I push a pawn, he castles, I move my queen, he push a pawn, I take it, I take again, he takes a pawn, I take his rook, now he's threatening my rook. I double up on the d file. What's the thing stopping me from playing rook d5 to d8? Well, of course it's this pesky little pony. He provides some air for his king, or luft as we say in Swedish. I push my pawn. He moves the rook. And it's black to move. He puts the king into a tiny little fortress. And frankly, I don't see any immediate checkmates against the black king at the moment, so I just move my pawn forward. He goes back with the knight, threatening my rook. I push a pawn, and you might wonder, aren't you losing your rook now on d5? But I don't remember what happens next. Let's see if he takes the rook. I push the button and see what happens. Yeah, he took it. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this. The whole idea here is to trade off the queens, because it's threatening the king, so I guess he has to take. And he does it. So I take the queen. He moves the knight. He's pretty low on the clock also. He has less than 10 seconds, whereas I have more than a minute. If I ask you to look at the white king, how can black checkmate the white king in just 2 moves? Well, of course it's moving the black rook over there and just bring it down to the first rank. That would immediately end the game and black will win. So I have to look out for that. Let's see how the game progresses. I take the knight. He advances with the pawns, and so do I. And this is a scary moment. He's threatening checkmate here. But of course I saw that, so I put my rook here and I can go down. Well, I think that's what's gonna happen, so let's see what happens. Yeah. And of course this game is over in just a couple of seconds, so I'll just fast forward. The game ends on time. I win on time. He runs out of seconds. And you might wonder why I chose to promote into a bishop. That was just for fun, so don't pay any attention to that. And that's it. I didn't win on checkmate. This is not a checkmate position. The black king can escape to this square and to this square. But he ran out of time, so I won on time. Okay, let's wrap this up. You already knew the importance of developing your pieces, and now I showed you a practical example of that, and I also discussed it and talked about it. So hopefully it made you think, and also I hoped that the bad way that black played helped you realize that you shouldn't play like black. Rather, you should try to play like me. Developing the pieces, synchronize them, find the nice combinations, and take a pawn there, take a knight there, and perhaps set up some sort of checkmate pattern. That's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe, or write a comment under the video if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Bye.